All right, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing a beer from the Burial Beer Company, and they're out of Asheville, North Carolina, and this is their instructions for the Underworld. So they're calling this one an IPA that comes in at 6.66% alcohol by volume. No IBUs listed, time of review. This can is approximately 2.5 months old. I want to give a huge thanks and shout out once again to a very good friend of mine and a fellow beer tuber, Ridge over at Ridgeopolus, otherwise known as Get a Nose on a Beer Reviews, for hooking me up with this one. So big thanks to him. In the description box, I'll post a link to the beer mail unboxing video I did that contains all the goodies he sent my way, along with his channel, because Ridge does beer tubing right. His channel is so fun and entertaining, and he's a great guy, very generous individual. So go over there, say hi, give him a sub, check out his content. He loves his hobby beers, and he sent me one here. So thanks again, Ridge, for the Burial, because this is the first beer from Burial I'm reviewing on my channel. I've had, I'm pretty sure I reviewed 1 or 2 collabs that they've done with other half in the past. And yeah, I think this is actually the first beer I'm having from Burial, period. So I'm really excited about this one. On the back here, I will read the spiel real quick. No tasting notes, which is nice. It says, "This was a resolution with the gods, a perpetual isolation with a tomb that embodies the most terrifying concepts, a place that promised eternal understanding. Perhaps it was intended to make us numb to damning thoughts, made with barley and oats, made with the holy trinity of Incognito, Cryo, and hop pellets, double dry hopped with Citra, Motueka, Cashmere, and Centennial." So I love the artwork on this. The whole theme to it's beautiful, I think. It's fantastic. And they say 6 on Untapped, and on Instagram they put 6.66%. They just say 6.6, but they went for 6.66, and we all know why. Anyway, let's crack this one open. I'm really excited about this one. So 2.5 months old. Typically, Ridge likes drinking his hop forward beers under 3 months. That's like his, you know, his thing. I typically like under 2 months, but whatever. Hopefully this held out quite well. It is a lower ABV IPA, so sometimes that is worrying, but we will see. So that's looking beautiful. A friend of ours, both Ridge and I, and a fellow beer tuber, Tyler, over at South 10 Beer Reviews, he went to Burial in, I believe it was the early fall, and he got his hands on a lot of different beers, and he reviewed a shit ton on his channel. Go check out his channel, great guy. And he was making my mouth water with some of the Burial stuff. So anyway, yeah, that looks like milky, you know, hop juice goodness. So it has like a honey orange color, real milky and turbid and the whole nine. About a finger of a bright white, creamy looking head. That looks beautiful in the glass, honestly. So let's get a nose. Ooh, that sounds pretty nice. Ooh, what is that? Get a little bit of coconut. Now here's the thing. There's cashmere in here. And the first time I ever had cashmere, I want to say it was at the Voodoo Brewing Company, their brew pub in Erie, Pennsylvania, and they had a beer with cashmere on, and I got so much coconut. I was like, holy crap. And that was before Sabro was like well known. I believe this was like 2015, 16, 17, something like that. And nowadays with cashmere, I don't get as much coconut. Not saying cashmere is producing the coconut, but I'm getting coconut. Man, I'm getting coconut and like lemon lime, so the Motueka is kind of screaming. This is a weird beer to me. So like a tiny little like pina colada vibe. It's pineapple mixing in with a little bit of that coconut, but then there's lemon lime. It smells like some kind of mixed drink, but in hop form, you know what I mean? There's a nice sweetness, maybe like a tangerine type of citrus sweetness, like a juice. A little bit of like an earthy kind of hop note as well. Yeah, like a dirty earthiness. It smells really good. This smells different. This smells real different to me. Yeah, this is not anything that I anticipated going into this one. So I want to get into this because it's very interesting. I'm very intrigued. So thanks again, Ridge. Let's get into it. Cheers. Yeah, that's cool. I'm getting a little pina colada in there. For something that's just over 6.5, body and mouthfeel are really good in this one. And if I was doing it blind, I could definitely tell you this is a single IPA because the body on this is like lower side to medium, but it just has that nice, like kind of feeling to the beer where I can taste a little bit of the malt, which kind of, usually when I can taste any of the malt, and it has more of that like grainy, bready, almost crackery type of note. I'm typically thinking under 7, a lot of times under 6. I'd probably guess this around like 6 to 6.5. So body's lower side to medium body. The mouthfeel has a decent amount of carbonation. It's moderately carbonated, but it has a nice smooth finish to it. It's not like creamy and super soft and whatnot, but it does have a smooth finish. Yeah, it's really smooth on the palate. The taste, right up front, I'm hit with those malt characters, but they become underlying. So they hit right at the forefront. You get a little blast of like malt sweetness, bready, crackery, maybe a touch of honey right underneath the palate, because all of the hop character then rides over top of it. Definitely pina colada. It's not huge. I think if you're drinking this one and you're listening to what I'm saying here, you drink and be like, where's the pina colada? It's very subdued but noticeable. But it's not over the top and it's not super sweet. It's kind of like an underripened pineapple meets like a ripened coconut. It doesn't have like a big sweetness to it, but it has the characters of a pina colada without like a cloying kind of sweetness to it. Right after that, tangerine juice, a little bit of that lemon lime. It's more of a zesty lemon lime. And that just carries on through the rest of the palate. Then on the back of the palate, it has that earthy kind of dirtiness. A lot of times Ridge like to say like a dirty gym bag or dirty gym locker type of thing, which just sounds gross in general, kind of akin to when somebody's like, oh, there's a ton of, you know, onion and garlic in this. And people, I've had comments before like, what? Onion and garlic? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, I have no idea, but that's what I'm getting. So it kind of has like that hop like earthiness on the back of the palate. This finishes mildly bitter with a almost approaching semi-dry finish. This does lean a little bit sweeter, but because it's a lower ABV beer, it's not like crazy sweet or anything. It's just a little bit of a touch. It leans sweeter for a sub 7% IPA. You can't tell there's any alcohol in this one because, I mean, nowadays, pretty much if you're under 7% nowadays with any craft beer, I feel like you don't taste the alcohol. You just don't. That's just something that, you know, if you do nowadays, you're like surprised. You're like, what is the 6.5? And it's boozy? Like that doesn't happen anymore. Not anymore, but rarely. So yeah, this isn't blowing my socks off or anything. This is not like, you know, amazing, but for something that's 6.66% that has a pretty good hop bill to it, I think the body and the mouthfeel are appropriate. I'm really enjoying this one. It's really easygoing, very simple. Not much more to say about it, honestly, other than give it a rating. So I'm going to give Burial's instructions for the Underworld. I'm going to give that a high 4 out of 5 and go 4.1 out of 5. I think that is a pretty good score. To get into the 4.25, I think I want a little more complexity in general. And maybe for the mouthfeel to be like kind of like in the realm of like an other half 6.5% IPA. A lot of times they'll do it and their mouthfeels are bonkers. I think that if the mouthfeel is bumped up a bitch. Mouthfeel is bumped up a bitch. If it was bumped up a bit, I think this would be a 4.2, 4.25, something like that. But a 4.1 is a pretty good score. I do want to try more from Burial, like I do. Yeah. Not much more to say about this. I don't know what Ridge paid for this one in his area. So price and availability, Ridge, let me know. I would imagine something like this, you're probably not paying more than like, hopefully not more than like $16 a 4-pack. If it's like $18 a 4-pack, I kind of see it. But if it's in the $16, $18 range, it's okay in this market. Although, you know, a lot of people are like, that's a 6.5%, you know, IPA. Like, why are they, you know, almost $5 a can? It's just how it is nowadays, unfortunately. I wish it was, I wish a lot of breweries took a page out of Hop Butcher's book, and, you know, beers like this would be, you know, $12 to $13 a 4-pack. Or even $14 a 4-pack. So, but anyway, availability, I have no idea. I know Burial gets slight distribution, but I don't know where. They certainly don't show up here in the West New York area. So if you've had this one before, let me know what you think about it. Thanks again to Ridge for hooking me up with this one. It's funny, Ridge, if you watch the end, I do apologize, but I'm actually reviewing and drinking this one before the other 3 stouts that he sent in the prior box to me. The reason for that is this is 2.5 months old. And it's a hop forward beer, so I was like, I got to drink that before the stouts. The stout should hold up, so I'm not worried about them. Worried about this one, and I think this one held up pretty well for 2.5 months old. I think if this was like a month old, I think I would have been getting different things out of it, but maybe not. Who knows? But thanks again, Ridge. Go check out Ridge, great guy, and thanks to everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one, cheers.